How to plan a small wedding in a garden. A garden wedding is an ideal choice if you want to keep your wedding small, intimate, and affordable. It can be your own garden, a neighbor's garden, or a local municipality's garden. The important factor is that it is a place you care about, it has sufficient room for your guests, and it has a shelter option as well. Part 1: Choosing the garden. 1. Select the garden. Which garden will work best for your needs? Do you want a garden that is intimate, has special meaning to you, or is close by? Or are you looking for a large garden in a public space that has nearby amenities such as a restaurant or cafe? Your own garden, or the garden of your or your fiancé's parents, might be just the thing. Or, perhaps the garden of a relative or friend. A local garden, such as one in a park, could work well if it allows for gatherings. A botanical garden is often a lovely venue for a garden wedding. However, some may charge a lot for this, so bear that in mind when choosing. You might want to use a garden of a specific type, such as a beach garden, a coastal garden, a lavender farm garden, a modern garden, a medieval garden, etc., to reflect your personal interests. In this case, you may have to go further afield to find the right garden. Do some online researching. 2. Consider the important elements when choosing a garden. As well as a lovely environment and well-tended plants, there are some things you must consider for the garden wedding. There must be bathroom facilities somewhere near the wedding area. Guests and wedding party alike will need this space for various purposes. Have a form of shelter provided, just in case it rains or blows a gale. This might be a covered space, a room in a building, or a marquee, depending on what the garden space is near to. If it's your own garden, do you have a room large enough in the house to accommodate everyone? Moreover, is that what you want, to get married inside a house, should the weather prove inclement? Consider mud. Are there pathways and grassy areas that can be used to avoid getting dirty when walking about the garden? Long dresses, trails, trouser ends, and shoes can be spoiled if the garden is muddy or dirty. Legalities and formalities. Is it legal to use the garden in question for a gathering? Do you have to get permission, fill out forms, make payments, etc.? Find out all of this, or your day could be spoiled by overlooking such a simple yet important necessity. Convenience. Is there parking space nearby? Is the garden easy to get to, especially for people with limited mobility? Is it safe for small children if coming? Is the garden a long drive away? Vibes. Most of all, do you like the garden at the time of year you're planning to have your wedding? It might look gorgeous in fall but half alive in mid-spring. Or, it might look like a winter wonderland mid-winter but very ordinary in mid-summer. Be sure to check out photos if you don't already know what the garden looks like at the time of year your wedding is scheduled for. Is the garden free? If it's a popular public space, you'll need to ensure that it is available for you to use on the wedding date, at the specific times. There might be other weddings or events being held there. In some cases, the garden may be locked due to having specified hours. Be sure to ask in advance about these things if the garden is not privately owned. 3. Consider the time of day for the wedding. Garden weddings are generally best during the daylight hours, so that the guests can appreciate the setting. In summer, this can be a bit later into the evening, provided the air temperature promises to be warm. Part 2: Keeping the budget small. 1. Keep the guest list small. Choose close family members, close friends, and people you really care about. Everyone else is superfluous. If someone can't make it, don't substitute, just let the group size stay intimate. 2. Make your own invitations. This can save a lot of money and lets you customize them to suit the garden theme. There are many software programs that will help you to design invitations, and you can either print them off yourself at home or send them to the printer once designed. 3. Choose a theme that relates to the garden. Keep it simple, as the garden can be the star of the occasion. Think plants, greenery, and garden colors. A good place to start researching your ideas is Pinterest, checking out the ideas that other people celebrating a garden wedding have gathered together. 4. Draw up a budget. Know in advance how much money you're prepared to spend, then stick to this. Any expensive must-haves should be thought over very carefully and slept on. That way, you can decide whether anything expensive is really worth the outlay or whether you're just caught up in the excitement of planning. Remind yourself that the garden is going to do a lot of the work for you, and that you can make the most of nature's designs without having to add much else. 5. Decide where to have the reception. For a day wedding, a buffet or picnic lunch under a gazebo in the garden can be lovely. Or, you can set up a marquee close by and have basic catering done. Having a lunch or afternoon tea reception is a great way to save money. Sit-down dinners are generally one of the large expenses of a wedding, so by avoiding that, you can save a lot of money and still have a lovely time. Other options include: go to a nearby restaurant or cafe and have a meal there. Be sure to book for your party though, don't just turn up. Have an evening cocktail party reception. Cocktail party receptions are still generally cheaper than a sit-down dinner and can be held either in a marquee, provided the garden allows this under liquor licensing laws, or you can head to a bar prepared to throw this event for you in a private room. Have a picnic. Ask family members to help buy and prepare suitable picnic food, and to bring along blankets, fold-up seats, and so forth. Generally, you don't need permission to have a picnic in a park space, but do check. Have the reception inside your house. If you have the wedding in your own garden, use your dining room or other similar space for the reception. You could even hire a caterer or chef just for the evening. This should still prove much cheaper than hiring a reception center. 6. Dress for less. Choose a wedding dress that is elegant yet affordable. It could be one that you've purchased used, one made up by a clever seamstress in the family, or yourself, or a dress that is purchased on sale. Beautiful dresses do not have to cost a lot, good fit and comfort are the most important thing. For the groom, consider hiring the suit. Ask the bridesmaids to wear a dress of their own in the color scheme of your wedding. Accessories can be garden-themed, such as a bridal veil with leaf motifs sewn onto it. You can do this yourself, a brooch featuring flowers, a necklace with flowers, and so forth. 7. See whether a family member or friend with good photography skills is happy to take photographs. This will save you more money, but be sure to give this person a decent gift in return for their kindness. 8. Let the garden wedding be a reflection of the things you care about. Being outdoors, loving nature, enjoying the simpler things in life, this is your guide in keeping the budget reined in, as you really don't need lots of decorations, expensive clothing or over-the-top dining. Part 3. Other considerations. 1. Plan for bad weather. Have a plan B in place in case it rains, is freezing, or is really windy. If possible, have the indoor location overlooking the garden or incorporating the garden in some way. If that's not possible, consider how Plan B can still evoke the garden concept indoors, such as by bringing in container plants, decorating with garden-themed items, and perhaps beaming pictures of gardens onto the walls. 2. Check parking space is plentiful for guests. Provide instructions on how to get to the garden space chosen if it's in a public place and it's not immediately obvious. 3. Book well ahead if the garden space needs to be booked. If it's popular, you may find that it's already taken. Tips. Always consult with your significant other to make sure you are both on the same track. Use your own transportation rather than hiring wedding cars. The garden is the star of the wedding, and if you value all things nature, the vehicles aren't going to be high on your list of features. Consider an overseas garden. Although you have to factor in the cost of your own airfares, by asking family members and friends to fund their own way, you will automatically reduce the amount of people who can make it. This will keep it very small and intimate. You can use all the money saved to stay in a lovely resort for the week. Warnings. Ensure food safety when catering outdoors. Keep foods at appropriate temperatures prior to and during serving. Plan B can increase the costs of your wedding, depending on what you need to do to keep out of the bad weather. If you have the wedding in a public space, be aware that onlookers will stare and may even take photographs. Things. Garden with good access. Paperwork filled out and accepted. Budget. Catering. Invitations. Wedding clothes.